Hi everyone, welcome back to the Solo Adventurer. We're continuing with Dragonbane today. In our last video, we went through the process of creating a character in Dragonbane. We talked a little bit about how some of the basic mechanics work, and we also showed off the Foundry module that we're going to be using for this. If you've not seen that, if you want to get more details on that, go check that previous video out. Today, we are going to do our first session with this. I think it's probably important that we first look at how a solo adventure works. What are some of the general ideas with it? What are some of the Dragonbane specific ideas with it? We will create our own adventure from scratch, our own custom adventure. So the first thing we'll probably do is go through the basic concept of our custom adventure. What is our objective going to be? And then create some waypoints, some landmarks that we're going to encounter, as well as a general threat that would sort of keep us on a timer. We will be using Rice of Quackmore's, seen here, that we created last time, our Mallard Scholar. I'm going to close out Rice here so you can see character sheet that we created last time. I'm going to move it over side for now. And then I'm going to bring up this section of the Alona Deepfall Breach booklet. This particular section actually talks about how your missions work in general. So there will be a general threat, like I mentioned, that sort of keeps you on a timer. You'll have an objective. Then these waypoints. So in this first one, the Captive War, there are a couple of waypoints that are already determined. And then there are some that are unknown, and you'll have to generate those on the fly. And then obviously your final objective, where you're trying to get to, right? So we will go through that process for our session 0, basically. Okay, so first off, we're going to move down here to the custom section, creating custom missions. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to set your objective. It says roll action, attribute, and thing on the inspiration table. So this is our first look at the core tools here. This is sometimes called an oracle, sometimes just called a fortune chart or an inspiration chart. And it is how you generate your custom prompts and your decisions that you're going to be faced with. So in any solo game, if you want to have an element of uncertainty, an element of spontaneity, that same kind of idea of as if you were playing with a GM, you need some type of system that facilitates that. And so there are several different products out that will do that. When we go to other systems that don't have their own solo system, we will look at some of those. But thankfully, Dragonbane has its own, and so we're going to use it this time. But the general idea here is if you are at a point where you would ask the GM something normally, you can just use this fortune chart here. Roll a d6 and decide, what are you looking for? Is it a yes or no question, a number, scale, power, etc.? And the GM will answer. Right? But we're going down a little bit further here to the inspiration table. So the first thing that we're going to determine is our action. So we're going to roll here to see what our action is. 17, stop. Okay. Add that to our objective up here in our session journal. The next thing that we roll is an attribute. Stop decaying The last thing that we're going to roll is the thing. So the decaying crap. Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. The decaying refuge. So it sounds like there is some type of hidden safe place that is in danger of falling apart. And we have to help that somehow. Maybe this is a temple that's falling apart. It's imminent. Maybe this is like a sinking ship type situation. That could work. The sinking sanctuary. Stop the sinking sanctuary. That is a very alliterative name. It's perfect for an RPG adventure. Okay, so we've got our objective. We have to somehow stop the sinking sanctuary. I think we know what our threat is. That the sanctuary is sinking. What that means is that there is some type of looming danger. Obviously, it's that it's sinking in this case, such as an environmental hazard, pursuing foe, or time limit. Each mission should include a description of the threat. You can, but the way that this works is you use a D6 as a counter. If you were doing this physically, what we'll actually do is we'll just keep a counter here. We'll start with a 1 out of 6. And anytime there's a significant delay, if we get stuck with combat, or if we're spending too much time investigating something, or we get stuck somehow, then we're going to tick that counter up by 1. And when it reaches 6, then the event happens. The sanctuary, in this case, the sanctuary will sink. So it gives you a time limit. You're not just playing on for forever. There are perfectly good reasons why you could do something like that if you're doing like a long play campaign or something like that. But for these quick and easy, that'll work. So the next thing that we need to do is generate some waypoints. So waypoints, again, are a landmark, or if this were a traditional, like say dungeon, it'd be like the different rooms of the dungeon, right? Probably should do. We'll say 2. Yeah, let's keep it to 5 for now. 2 that we know, 2 that we don't know, and then the final object. To get those, we're going to go to the exploration tables here. And we're just going to roll on this table to get our outcome. Okay, so for our first waypoint, we are going to first determine what the area is. And then we're going to roll D4 to determine how many details we get with that. So let's do the area first. Okay, so this starts off with a lofty bridge. Okay, what do we know about the lofty bridge now? Well, we're going to get an extra detail about it. So we're going to go down here and we're going to click this. And that auto rolls for which of these details tables we roll on, and then also what the result is from that. So this sentient door is not on table 1 here. Let's see, it's probably down in the oddities. Yeah, it's an oddity. So a lofty bridge with a sentient door. And so I'm thinking like it's like the bridge over the moat or a chasm that leads to the entrance to this place. And to get through, we're going to have to deal with this sentient door. Okay. Interesting start there. Our second waypoint. go back up here, roll our area table. Narrow staircase. And what are the details there? Oh, makeshift barricade. Okay, I forgot to roll to see how many of these we get. And do it 3 times. So a narrow staircase. You know that there is a barricade. There is flowing magma. Oh, okay. So maybe this is sinking in lava. And old pillars. Okay. So our 3rd waypoint is unknown. 4th waypoint is unknown. And the 5th one. So what is our final objective here? Where does this take place? Twisting passage. Do we like that? No, not like that. No workshop. No. File temple. There we go. Right? Your final objective needs to be somewhere that is dramatic. So, file temple. What do we know about the Vile Temple? We know 3 things about the Vile Temple. The first thing that we know about the Vile Temple is that it has a talking statue. It has toxic fumes. And fleshy terrain. That's gross. No body horror tonight. Building's theme. That makes more sense. Okay. So there we go. We have our waypoints. We have our objectives to stop this place from sinking. Sounds like it's probably going to be sinking into magma or into the ground, right? There's magma, there's steam, there's toxic fumes. So we're dealing with a situation where this is literally probably collapsing. So from here, we will start our exploration. One important thing that is very helpful when doing a solo play is journaling. You should get comfortable with journaling for this because it is going to help you keep track of everything that's going on, but it also gives you sense of narrative with this. So we have these bullet points, but as we go, we're going to fill these in sort of this narrative manner, and we'll be able to get just some details. We'll just do a little brainstorming, right? Okay, so our first area, the lofty bridge with a sentient door. So I've put some basic descriptive text here. I have been given the task of finding a way to stop the ancient temple from sinking into the depths of the earth. Approaching the temple, I discover that the only entrance is a narrow bridge over a deep chasm. So this sets our scene, and this also gives us an initial complication, obstacle. I decided that it was a narrow bridge. Now there wasn't anything in our prompts that gave us that. Just kind of came out in the flow of the writing. So I think then that we need to see our first roll here. How do we do with getting across this bridge? So presented with this challenge, how does our Mallard Scholar deal with this? So his trained skills, he could sneak across very carefully, cautiously. I think that's a pretty good start there. Myths and legends, we could eventually roll to maybe determine some information about this sentient door we're going to come up on. So we'll use that a little bit. We go over to all of our skills. Try acrobatics. I've only got a 5 in acrobatics, so that might not go well. If all goes poorly and I fall off this, I guess maybe I can swim. I think out of all of the skills here, I think our best option is going to be sneaking. So go back over here, and we are going to attempt to sneak across. All right, so this is our first roll. We don't have any boons or banes in this situation, so we are just going to... Oh, it's an 11. Okay, so remember in Dragonbane, you're trying to roll under your skill rating. So I didn't initially do it. Now, I have the option to push this roll, basically give myself a reroll. But if I do, I will have to take a condition, which basically means at that point, I can no longer use that ability to push. And also any abilities that anytime I use that ability, I am going to do that with a Bane. So I could do that. I also, if you watch the previous video, I also have an ability here called Soul Survivor. And what Soul Survivor does is when I'm adventuring alone, I can actually push a roll without suffering a condition. And the cost for this is 3 of my willpower points. I have 16 willpower points. So I need to spend. I don't necessarily want a condition right off the bat here, because that's gonna set a stage for possible failure here. So we're going to do that. We're going to use Soul Survivor in this case. So I'm going to go over here to the main page and click on Soul Survivor. In 3 will points to use Soul Survivor? Yes. There we go. So we're just going to, instead of clicking that push roll button, we're just actually going to re-roll that. And I still failed. Okay. So at that point, I can't push again. So I have just failed here. Moving cautiously forward, a strong wind caught my cloak and blew me off the bridge into the chasm below. And that is where we're going to leave it. We'll pick up next time to find out what happens to our intrepid Mallard Scholar. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notifications when the next episode comes out. And until next time, take care. Bye.